Today, we're diving into Surah Takathur. It's a short chapter from the Quran, but wow, is it profound. It really gets to the heart of a timeless human struggle, this constant, obsessive chase for more, and the shocking reality that eventually interrupts it all.
So, here's how we're going to break down its powerful message. We'll start with the core problem it talks about, move to the inevitable interruption, the dire warnings, what it means to see with certainty, and finally, wrap up with the personal accountability we all face.
Right from the get-go, the surah diagnoses a condition that affects, well, pretty much all of us. It's this powerful, all-consuming distraction that pulls our attention away from what truly matters.
The very first verse gives us this one powerful word, a takathur. Now, this isn't just about wanting nice things. It's about the rivalry, the competition to have more than the next person. Think about it. It's the engine behind keeping up with the Joneses. Or today, it's that endless scroll on social media, that flex culture, where we measure our worth by what we can show off.
And what's really insightful here is just how broad this competition is. It's not just about money. It can be a rivalry over the size of our family, our social status, our position at work, even in seeking knowledge, not for the truth, but for prestige, for the titles and the followers.
You know, this exact mindset is captured so perfectly elsewhere in the Quran. In this verse from another chapter, you have a man boasting to his friend, and it's the perfect example of Takathur, using stuff and numbers to feel superior. So if we're all locked in this endless race, what finally stops it? The surah gives us a very definitive answer, the one interruption that is coming for every single one of us.
The competition just keeps going, right up until this moment. But you have to pay attention to the specific Arabic word used here for visit. It is so significant, and it holds a deep theological meaning.
This is just brilliant. A visitor, by definition, is someone who doesn't stay forever, right? They're just passing through. So by using the word for visit, the verse is implying that the grave isn't the end. It's just a temporary stop before we're resurrected and called back.
And that is precisely why some scholars point out that phrases like the final resting place, while well-intentioned, can be a little tricky. If you take it literally, it kind of contradicts this fundamental belief in an afterlife, making it sound like the grave is the absolute end.
Okay, so we've established the problem, Takathur, and its inevitable interruption by death. Now the whole tone of the surah shifts dramatically. It becomes this urgent, repeated wake-up call. You see this word, kala. It's a powerful rebuke. It's like a big, loud no or stop. It's a command to just snap out of it, and it's followed by a stark promise. Oh, you will find out the consequences of your distraction.
And then it says it again. This isn't just for poetic flair. It's for intense emphasis. It's underscoring the absolute, undeniable certainty that this knowledge is coming. There's no escaping it.
This prophetic saying just puts our whole pursuit of wealth into a startling perspective. It basically asks us to take a hard look at all the things we strive for and consider what part of it we truly own.
When you really think about it, all the wealth we pile up can only end up in one of four places. It gets eaten and used up, it gets worn out, or it's just left behind for other people. Only one category actually benefits us in the long run, what we give in charity. That's what's preserved for us.
So the surah then explains how we'll come to know the reality we were so distracted from. And it does this by introducing the idea of yaqeen, or certainty, which isn't just one thing, but more of a progression.
See, certainty comes in stages. It starts with knowledge of certainty, which is basically believing the divine message we have right now. Then comes the eye of certainty, which is when we will actually see the reality of the hereafter with our own eyes. And finally, there's the truth of certainty, which is experiencing it all firsthand.
Now, this next part is fascinating. The entire meaning of what comes next hinges on something really subtle but absolutely critical, a tiny pause in how it's recited.
A reciter has to pause after the phrase, knowledge of certainty. Why? Well, because if you just read it straight through without stopping, it sounds like seeing the hellfire is conditional, like it only happens if you have certain knowledge. But that's not right. The correct understanding, which you get by pausing, is that these are two separate statements. The first is a comment on our current state, and the second is a universal declaration that everyone, all of humanity, will witness that reality.
And the surah concludes by taking this massive cosmic reckoning and bringing it right down to a super-personal level. It's all about the final audit that every single one of us is going to face.
There's a powerful story from the life of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that just brings this final audit into crystal clear focus.
It involves him and his two closest companions.
Abu Bakr and Omar. One day, they were driven from their homes by intense hunger. A companion hosted them and offered them what seemed like really simple blessings, right? A handful of fresh dates and some cool water.
After they had eaten and drank, the Prophet said something that brings the final verse of this surah to life. He swore an oath and said that even this simple blessing, the cool water and fresh dates on a day of hunger, was something they would be questioned about. Wow.
This shows us that while everybody will be asked about the blessings they had, the nature of the question is different. For a believer, it'll be a gentle reminder, a way to show God's grace. But for a disbeliever, it's going to be a stern rebuke for their ingratitude. And that just leaves us with a final, pretty sobering thought to reflect on. Accountability isn't just for the big things, our major actions or our great wealth. It's for every single blessing, from the roof over our head to that simple glass of cool water we drink without even a second thought.
إن أعجبك الفيديو لا تنسى الإعجاب والاشتراك في القناة.